Good evening, everyone. You're welcome to today's session. Thank you for taking out time to be here. We're going to start with the national anthem. So, over to you, admin, to help us with that. Okay, thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, and welcome once again. I'm going to hand over to Dr. Adaju to please welcome or to open this event officially. Over to you, Dr. Adaju. Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am. I hope you can see me.
Not yet, sir.
Oh, really?
We can see the
Um,
background, but we can't see you, sir.
Interesting. Must be something wrong with my apologies. And I did a test run for now.
Before now.
Yeah, interesting. Okay. Um, okay, let's just run so that we don't waste time.
Okay, sir.
Um, Good evening, everyone, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Executive Committee of the Institute for National Transformation Alumni Association, it is my great privilege and honor to warmly welcome you to this month's webinar. I extend a very special welcome to our own dear founder and international DG, Professor Gogo, and the leadership and faculty of INT international members of the directorate, distinguished guest speakers and panelists, alumni across Nigeria, Africa, and across the world, as well as our friends and partners joining us today. The INT has consistently championed development of values-based, no-excuse leaders committed to transforming families, organizations, communities, and nations. As alumni, we are all called not only to lead with integrity and excellence, also to become catalysts for holistic transformation in every sphere of society. Today's theme, building healthy communities through awareness and preventive healthcare, could not be more timely. Healthy communities are the foundation of productive societies. When people enjoy sound nutrition, good mental health, and embrace preventive healthcare, they are better equipped to learn, work, innovate, lead, and contribute meaningfully to national development. As transformational leaders, we have a responsibility to promote not only economic and institutional transformation, and social well-being of the people we serve. I encourage every participant to engage actively, ask thoughtful questions, and reflect on how the insights that we share today can be translated into practical actions within our families. Before I end, let me also specially recognize some, some of us that already joined. Madam CD, thank you so much for joining. We call her Madam CD, the country executive director, Mrs. Bukola Femi Ajala. Thank you very much for always pushing us. Madam Vice President, I recognize you. Thank you, our special host, Madam Shola Oguche Aguda. and many others. Because of our time, I'll just allow us to, um, to run. So once again, I sincerely thank our speakers for accepting to share their expertise, and I appreciate every participant for making time to be part of this important conversation. It's now my pleasure to formally declare this webinar open and to invite our moderator to take
Thank you so much, Dr. Shegun Adaju, for the welcome address or note and just really declaring this sessions for today open. As he has said, today's topic of conversation is building healthy communities through nutrition, mental wellness, and preventive healthcare. And this is really, really crucial at the times, for the times that we live in. So without further ado, we're just going to go to our first speaker today, Coach Deborah. Admin, please, can we have our bio, please? Okay. Are we waiting? While we're waiting, we're waiting.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, am I the one to share my bio?
No, it's not you. Don't worry. We're actually waiting for your
Okay.
bio to be shared. Yes.
All right,
So,
thank you.
so don't worry. We'll be with you shortly. We're just waiting for that to happen. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. So, Deborah Ojali Meligar is a health and nutrition advocate and the founder of OJ Integrity Healthy Foods and Teas, as well as the OJ Integrity Health community. She's dedicated to promoting preventive health through natural nutrition, lifestyle modification, and holistic wellness practices. Holds a BSc of Agriculture in Agricultural Economics and Extension as an extension and a postgraduate diploma in education, PGDE. She has further advanced her expertise through professional training in naturopathy, professional herbalism, executive diploma in healthcare management, clinical data analytics, public health, education management, and administration, to mention a few. She's a member of healthcare professionals and leadership development bodies, where she contributes to community health education and advocacy initiatives. With over a decade of experience, she has helped individuals recover and manage health conditions naturally through structured dietary guidance and the use of plant-based teas. Her multidisciplinary approach combines scientific knowledge, data-informed insights, and natural healing principles to address modern health challenges. She has received recognition for her contributions to community health awareness and continues to empower individuals through seminars, mentorship, and wellness programs. Please, can we just give a round of applause, a virtual applause to Coach Deborah as she comes up to share with us today. Ma'am, you have 15 minutes to deliver what we hope will be a very insightful session. Thank you. Over to you, ma'am.
All right, thank you, everyone. Good evening once again. Standing on the existing protocol, I want to go straight to what I have to do this evening, and that is to, first of all, quickly talk about myself, my journey. I was once a woman who was, totally battered with health issues. In 2010, I gave birth through CS. In July 2010, I gave birth to CS. So by May 2011, I was diagnosed of complex ovarian cyst. Yeah, I was diagnosed of complex ovarian cyst, polycystic ovarian syndrome, endometriosis, and the complex ovarian cyst was hemorrhagic, septated, very complex one. I went in for surgery, and it was a very serious issue. And within the space of 9 hours, I had my surgery and came out. Then in July 2011, that I had the first surgery in May 2011. The second surgery came up May 2011. July 2011, I was diagnosed of another complex ovarian cyst. This time around, my organs were joined together. It was such a serious case. And I went in for another surgery, and it was God that saw me through. I came out again December the same year. I was back to the theater for another major surgery on complex ovarian cyst. How did this come about? During my CS, there was a mistake when they were sewing me up, and that led to accumulation of fluid in my reproductive system, and that brought about the recurrent surgeries that I was having. So by December 2011, when I was in for another surgery, the doctor that came in, who was supposed to handle that surgery, having gone through my file, said, God, they gave me some medications to sleep off because of the excruciating pain. And I overheard the doctor say something like, can you quietly discharge her? Give her some antibiotics, give her some painkillers. If we go in this time around, she is not going to make it. I heard that clearly. And that was how the meeting ended, and they discharged me to faith. And by the time I got home, I began to ask God, is this how my life is going to end? I have a baby of barely 1 year. Is this how I'm going to end my life? That was the beginning of my journey. And that was the beginning of a mission. I began to study about people who have survived ovarian cancer. For me, that was what I was going through. Of course, it wasn't the diagnosis, but my case was more like that. And that was how I went into study. I saw a woman in the US who survived ovarian cancer using her diet and the natural things God has provided. And she survived it. So I started studying the things that we have in Nigeria, our seeds, our plants. I began to study about moringa, garlic, ginger, turmeric, black pepper, how to combine these things, because the things she was mentioning, the woman in the US, I was not familiar with them. Asparagus, kale, and all that. I wasn't familiar with them as at that time. So I needed to start studying what we have in Nigeria that I can use. I was obese then. I was like 3 to 4 times what I am today. So that was how I came out with my own meal plan. I got rid of junks from my food because I was addicted to Coke as at that time. And I loved pastries, bread, and all that. And by the time I started my journey, I removed those things that were not good for my body from my diet. And I began to put together things that are beneficial to my body. With this, within the space of 3 months of using my own meal plan, with the natural things God has blessed us with, I started getting myself back. I could walk straight. I lost a lot of weight. The pains, the excruciating pains I was having, all fizzled away. And within the space of 3 to 4 months, I could walk properly. I knew I was already healed. I could do those things that I couldn't do, those pains. Then when my period comes, it used to be excruciating. It's a pain that the neighbors will hear me screaming until they give me injections like Penta and all that before the pain will subside. But within this period, except I'm staying, I wouldn't even know I'm on my period. My healing came just like that after using my own meal plan. And that was when I made up my mind that I was going to help people. Our healing depends on what we eat. As our topic says, building healthy communities through nutrition, mental wellness, and preventive health. Now we can prevent those sicknesses that are taking lives. We can prevent them, and if we have them already, we can deal with them naturally. Most of the sicknesses we have are as a result of poor lifestyle choices. If we can get rid of them, then we can get our lives back. As I speak to you, over 20 surgeries have been cancelled without any orthodox medication by the grace of God. And we have worked with 3 cancer people, and to the glory of God, they are doing well right now. So this is to tell you that our lifestyle choices are mostly the cause of the problems that we have in our health. All right. So I'm going to be talking briefly about the things that helped me in the course of my journey and is helping people right now. A lot of people, when you come to me, I tell you, can you be disciplined? Can you do the right things? Once you can do that, that is all I need from you. For people with complex ovarian cyst, I give them within the space of 2 months, I tell you, you're going to be healed. And by the grace of God, it's been like that, especially for those who are disciplined and are ready to get rid of things that are not good for their body and embrace the natural things God has given to us. All right. So I'm going to be talking about things like garlic. One of the major things that helped me in the course of my journey was garlic. Garlic has an active compound known as allicin. Okay, do I need to, let me quickly, because of our time, let me just share. So I want to, while I'm talking, I want to share my screen on
You want to share your
some of
slides?
the,
So,
yes,
okay.
on some of the things that helped me. Okay,
Okay.
so
Do
stuff
let me
like,
give you, do you want to share your slides? So I should give you permission to,
okay,
I
yes,
think
please.
we need to give her, can we please give her permission to share her
Yes,
slides?
she has the permission to share already. Yeah.
So you
Okay.
can share now. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me keep talking while I am getting there. So stuff like garlic. I was on garlic for a whole 1 year. Now, in the course of my journey, I went for my tests. I went for my tests after 1 year. That was when I went to do my scan to see if I was totally healed. To the glory of God, they were asking me, what was I here for? I'm not pregnant. I'm not. I said, no, check. Before then, um, my once I go for scan, the first thing they see is the tumor on my ovaries, and they begin to tell me all sorts of things. But this time around, when I went, they couldn't see anything. I was on garlic for a whole 1 year. I was taking garlic, like 5 to 6 pieces of garlic. I would chop it into tiny pieces, allow air to blow on it for like 10 minutes. That is when the allicin is activated. Now, one of the strongest antibiotics we have on earth is garlic. It's anti-inflammatory. And by the time I take that first thing in the morning, after taking warm water and lemon, I take my garlic before I take any of my green teas. And I have one cooked meal per day. That's one cooked meal per day. Then the other foods are vegetables and fruits. Okay. So by the time I take that, I think this is distracting me. Let me just hurry up and say what I have to say. So garlic is very strong for preventive health and curative. Okay, so I took garlic for good 1 year, and that cleansed my system, brought back my ovaries to normal, and I usually take it with water. And those who are working with me right now, this is one of the major recipe I give to them: garlic. The next one is moringa. Moringa is one of the richest plants we have on earth. It has B complexes, it has amino acids. That means it's one of the best plant protein we have on earth. I take a moringa tea. I use the leaves um, to prepare. I use the leaves to prepare my dishes. I use the powder in pap. I use the powder in pap, and all this contributed to my healing. Or I used turmeric and black pepper. A lot of people don't know the power in these things, in these natural things that God has given to us. Turmeric has an active compound known as curcumin. Curcumin is activated by black pepper. The active compound in black pepper is papain. Just a pinch of black pepper in half teaspoon of turmeric. That alone helps your inflammation, helps with your oxidative stress, helps to handle oxidative stress. Okay, so I combine these things together. Guava leaves have some active ingredients, like quercetin, which helps with inflammation. It helps to balance your hormone as a woman. So I combine these things together. My foods were always colorful. Any food I was going to take has different types of vegetables, not less than 3 vegetables in them. So combining these things together helped me to heal naturally. All right. I have things like soursop leaves, taking the tea just in moderation. All these things combined together were part of the things that helped my journey to healing. It's a ginger. Ginger helps with inflammation too. It helps to bring down inflammation. I take ginger tea, I put it in every of my foods, and so many natural things like that. In all the times I was treating myself with the natural food, no orthodox medication entered my mouth, not even paracetamol. And with this, I was able to heal naturally. So anywhere I have opportunity to speak, I tell people, eat your food like medicine so that you don't eat medicine like food. So even people on high blood pressure medications, people on diabetes, people with arthritis, by the grace of God, there are natural things we give them to help them heal up. Now, this is not to discredit orthodox medication because they help a lot. In the case of emergency, if you don't see orthodox medicine, you are gone. So God has planned that for humanity, and at the same time, He has planned the natural things to help us heal as fast as possible. And I sit here to tell everyone that God is able to heal you through natural things. I don't do malaria medication. For the past 6 years, I've not had to take any malaria pills or antibiotics for infection or typhoid, all that. I get all this from natural foods. So if we can get rid of the processed foods, which are majorly our problems, breads, fizzy drinks, if we can get rid of them from our foods, we are able to get our body back. Now, not to forget working out, exercise, rest. You need to have adequate rest. You need to make sure your mental health is stable. A lot of us, put our problems on our heads. We have issues with people. If you don't get rid of these things, they are part of the things that will increase that will bring down your health. So all these things combined together ensure that you are taking natural things, you are staying hydrated. I take 4,000 steps at least 5 times in a week. I take 4,000 steps. I go around my estate like 10 times, which one time gives me 40 steps. All right. So you have to plan how to stay healthy by what you eat, your choices of food. I can tell you there was somebody who was due for operation. She was supposed to go on operation to have a surgery on a Friday. On Monday, I met her on Friday. And I told her that, do you know you can be healed naturally? That was her third surgery of having complex ovarian cyst. I told her, do you want to go under the knife again? She said no, because she's really scared. She has done it twice. And to the glory of God, I sat her down, told her what to do, what not to do, get to the market, get this, get that. And to the glory of God. She went within 2 months of doing these things. The whole tumor went back to hell. And she's healed till today. And I'm counting close to 20 surgeries that have been canceled just by taking natural things, adhering to natural things. The Holy Book tells us in Psalm 104, verse 14, it says something about, it said, and the herbs for the healing of the people. He said he has given the herbs to heal the people. So having the knowledge on how to combine these things helps us to heal naturally. All right. So 15 minutes is such a short time. So I just
It
try
is a
to
short time.
rush the things I have to say.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Coach Deborah. One of the things I wanted to ask is that do you have a recipe book? By
Yes,
now you should, you do you have a recipe book? By now
yes,
you
it's
should have
coming
one.
out this week.
Please.
A lot of people have disturbed me, so I'm working on it.
Yes.
By the end of this week, my recipe book should be out, and I
Okay.
sell all these things that help us to heal naturally.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Because I'm thinking,
You're
one of the things we're taking away is, eat your food like medicine so that you will not have to take real medicine. So we want to have that recipe, those recipe books. Because some people don't know what to combine with what, in what portion, and how,
Yeah, you're
and
right.
so when God gives you that kind of expertise, is to put it in a way that we can spread it out. So please, immediately it's out. We want to have it. We want to share it with the community, and we want to know that so that everybody can get on that journey, really, and there are no more excuses. Thank you also because you said you sell those things, so we have no excuse. Nobody says, I don't know how to find it. Coach Deborah has that. And, really, to just, thank the Lord that you're a walking testimony that this works. Thank you so much. So we'll just have you stay behind when it's time for questions and answers. We're coming right to you. Thank you very much, ma. And well done.
That's fine. Thank you. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm excited already. I have notes, so I hope you guys are taking notes because I am taking notes, really. And I'm ready to get on this journey. There's some things I know that I'm doing already, but there's other things I'm like, okay, let me add this to the list. So we're going to call on our next speaker very quickly. And that is Dr. Jack Mbom. I hope I got that right. Please, admin, can we have his bio? So that, and then you have to reset his timer because his time hasn't started. So let's reset that, but let's have his bio so that I can read it. Okay. Dr. Jack is a renowned professor of combat sports, consultant exercise psychologist, and internationally recognized wellness and security consultant with nearly 50 years of experience. He has trained the military, police, security, corporate, and educational institutions across Nigeria and internationally, pioneering workplace wellness and fitness programs for leading organizations. A highly respected martial arts expert and one of Africa's most senior karate grandmasters, he has held numerous leadership positions in national and international karate federations. Dr. Mbom is also a fellow and faculty member of Leadership and Governance Institute, an Oak Seed of Class 021, and faculty of the Institute for National Transformation, INT, and also a respected thought leader in wellness, leadership, and security education. Fluent in English, French, and Spanish, he continues to influence lives globally through training, research, and strategic advisory services. Please, can we give a virtual round of applause to Dr. Jack as we welcome him? And please, can we reset his timing so that he can start? Dr. Jack, really good to have you here. Thank you. Thank you. You're muted, sir. You're muted.
Thanks plenty for having me.
Thank you, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir, we can hear you now.
Okay. Firstly, I'd like to start by making a confession. I am 74 years young and I am on no drug. No drug. I don't believe in drugs. I believe in the innate, health principle. I believe that ab initio, from the beginning, when God created us and put us in the Garden of Eden, he gave us 4 stewardships. The first stewardship was stewardship of his temple, our bodies and our mind. to love and care for. The second stewardship was stewardship of our environment. If you're healthy and you live in a dirty environment, you live in an environment that is filthy, you live in an environment that is toxic, basically, you're going to get unhealthy pretty soon. The third stewardship was the stewardship of love and care for our neighbor. And then the fourth stewardship, which is the foundational stewardship, was love and care for God, connectedness with God, to God, and alignment with God. Now, God created us, and if He wanted us to live on drugs, He would have put a pharmacy in the Garden of Eden. If He thought that health has to come through a hospital stay, He would have put a hospital in the Garden of Eden. But He did not put a pharmacy, He did not put a hospital. And I want to make this clear. After making us, the Lord saw that it was very good. I mean that God made us perfect. Now, you can't add anything to perfection. You can only sustain perfection, and when you fail to sustain it, restore perfection. Consequently, I'm going to make a statement of faith here, and a powerful statement which is validated, scripturally validated, scientifically validated, and then validated through experiential. God made us perfect, and we can live a minimum of the 120 years He's giving us through this present dispensation without falling sick, or without seriously falling sick, because when we have a cold, and things like that. And all that it takes for us to do is to go back to the scriptures, because God created us and He wrote a manual. And the scriptures have every single thing He put, the type of fuel we need to take, how to maintain, these engines, biological engines, how to restore and rest and ensure that they auto-regulate properly, how to manage stress, how to be able to have, social support, love and intimacy, how to avoid toxins, and how to ensure that we stay connected, with Him. Because if you are not connected to your source, you are definitely a bastard. So, there are 7 drugs that God created and put at our disposal so we can be able to maintain perfect health. And I'm glad that our topic today, building healthy communities through nutrition, mental health, and preventive health care, actually sum up, these natural drugs. So drug number 1, balanced nutrition, meaning strategic fueling of this engine. It is absolutely important for us to understand that as we're getting older, we have to start making sure that we go back to Eden. We go back to nature, because nature is the most powerful foundation that we have for maintaining not only functional health, but also perfect health. What you put inside the system determines how the system is going to work. If you put adulterated fuel inside the system, definitely you're going to have an engine that is not running smoothly. Now, when we talk about balanced nutrition, we're saying that we must eat predominantly natural food. Predominantly. What the problem we have today is the problem of processed food. It is absolutely, critical for us to understand that science and technology are good. They are accelerators, but they come in at a very serious price that we have to pay. We have to understand that all these foods that, stray from, divine wisdom and are, basically foundation on man's wisdom, are extremely dangerous for our health. Let me quickly give an example. God made yam. He did not make pounded yam. Now we come in our limited wisdom and say, I am going to make it a point of duty to be eating swallow and pounded yam all the time. That's beautiful. The greatest poison that God created is fructose, sugar. But when God created sugar originally, he wrapped around that sugar, which is a very serious poison, he wrapped around it an antidote. And that antidote is fiber. As long as you eat sugar, that yam, as God made it, without destroying the fiber, when the sugar goes into your system and is released, it's put into the bloodstream, the fiber is going to control the release of the sugar in the bloodstream. Now, when you go and pound your yam or take a bar and break the fiber, there's nothing, restraining, sugar rushing into the bloodstream. And sugar in the blood is poison. Sugar in the muscles is fuel. Sugar in the liver is reserve fuel. Consequently, you take your eba, you take your amala, you take your pounded yam, within 30 to 45 minutes, you have hyperglycemia. And if you have as much as 2.5 teaspoonful of sugar in the bloodstream, you're going to go into diabetic coma. So you take your eba or amala, you have hyperglycemia, and then God created the pancreas to secrete insulin, to prevent you from going to diabetic coma. So as soon as your blood sugar rushes up, the pancreas creates insulin, and insulin is the key that opens the door of the muscle to the sugar, so that sugar can leave the bloodstream and go into the muscle where it is fuel. But you keep on doing that all the time, the body becomes insulin insensitive. And then eventually your blood sugar goes up, it doesn't come down. Your insulin, hyperinsulinemia, also gets topped up, it doesn't come down, and you are pre-diabetic, borderline diabetic, pre-diabetic, and fully diabetic. Also, God is a God of system. Every single thing he created is a system. So digestion also is a system. And it starts in the mouth with mastication. When you masticate, you have salivation. When you salivate, saliva has about 4 different enzymes. One to tackle carbohydrate, one to take care of protein, one to take care of fat, and the fourth one, which is antimicrobial. So when the bolus goes down, the esophagus into the stomach is not infected. Now, you decide that you're going to eat your swallow. And then what do? You truncate, chewing, mastication, and you truncate salivation. And you start your own digestion in the stomach. Of course, you pay a price for disobeying God. I'm going to hear you telling me that, but the Lord promised us that he was not going to visit upon us the illnesses he visited upon the Egyptians. That's beautiful. There's a proviso. If you obey my commandments. So when we are younger, it's like you buy a new car and you can bank this car, for 2 or 3 or 4 years before you need a mechanic. When you are this age, you have to understand that you have to combo value. You're going down. So you have to service this car regularly so that it's not going to break down on the highway of life. Now, exercise. Every single thing in life is movement. Movement is life. How do we know that you are dead? It's when you are no longer moving. No blood circulation, no pulse, no heartbeat. Consequently, we were made to move. And there's a physiological law. If you don't use the engine, you lose it. Function makes organ, and lack of use causes atrophy. Also, by the time we're 35, 40, we all start suffering from sarcopenia, which is the normal loss of muscle fibers due to age. And death comes from the legs. They are the ones that become weak first. You can no longer carry yourself, you have to sit down. And then when you cannot maintain an erect position sitting down, you have to lie down. And from lying down, you are put down into the grave. Consequently, movement is essential. Exercise is structured movement. And then we have physical activity in between the bouts of exercise. Because if you exercise 2 hours in the morning and you go and sit down 6 or 7 hours, it neutralizes all the benefits of exercise. Also, when you're sitting down, like we're sitting down and listening, and you sit down for 5 to 10 minutes, all the, all the bio, it can't, all your biochemistry is depleted to the tune of 75%. Your heart rate goes down. Your blood flow is shut down by 75%. And now the blood has a central pump, the heart. And we also have lymph circulation apart from blood circulation. And the lymph has no central pump, and yet it's the central sewage system of the body. So when you don't move, the lymph virtually stop flowing because it's muscular contraction and expansion that pushes it. So the body starts piling up toxins, Then rest. All activities must be broken into periods of loading, working, activity, work and recovery, rest. Most of us today don't rest enough. And when you don't rest enough, the body does not repair, it does not auto-regulate, it does not renew. Diminishing return, breakdown, death. Fourth, stress management. Nigeria is one of the most stressful countries in the world. Probably, those that, pass Nigeria on the stress scale, where we have actual war, like in the Middle East and all that. So if you are in Nigeria, you are in trouble. Fortunately for us, believers and Christians, we have faith and hope. We know that we're not here on our own. We know the Lord sent us and that we have an assignment and that He's going to give us every single thing we need to prosecute the assignment He gave us successfully. We have a difference. Our needs that are the responsibilities of God and our wants that are our own responsibility. So the best thing, for dealing with, stress is hope and faith. Because when you let stress build up, automatically the body will secrete, stress hormone. Cortisol and noradrenaline, what they do is suppress the immune system, cause general bodily inflammation, and then you are in trouble. Then we have social support. Your immediate human environment will either lift you up or bury you. Human beings are loving, caring, hugging human beings, all beings. So we need that support. We need the care. We need the intimacy. We need the love. Then, number 6, avoidance of toxins. Whether social drugs or prescribed drugs. Drugs do not heal. Drugs do not restore. Drugs will suppress, a symptom, and it does not take care of the root cause of the illness. Okay, so you remain on drug all your life, and then they are replete, with side effect and adverse effect, high level of toxicity. So we're not meant to be on drugs. They are only when you have an acute medical condition, an accident waiting to happen, that you can take drug, to balance your vitals, so that you can go back to natural forces again. So avoidance of toxins. And then the 7th drug, natural drug, connectedness to God and alignment with God. Like I said, we cannot, under any circumstances, bloom and succeed if we cut our spiritual umbilical cord with God. So these are the 7 drugs that we need. We need to make sure that we use these drugs. But the fact is that these drugs have to be used pari passu. You cannot say that, okay, there are 7, I'm going to use 4 and leave out 3. They must all be used at the same time because they have an entourage effect and they support one another in a manner mutually supportive for systems efficiency. Consequently, again, eat well, avoid toxins, avoid processed food, and make sure that you eat naturally. So today, your nutrition must be predominantly plant-based, and that will help. Move all the time. Make sure that when you sit down for 45 minutes, to avoid, a blood clot, or avoid, fluid pooling into your feet and ankles. You get up every 45 minutes and then you move around to ensure that blood can circulate, lung can ventilate, and you can maintain, a functional, capacity to be able to, have the ability to do what you need to do. But overall, two things we have to remember. Every single thing in life, including health, is prevaricated on two things: deficiency and toxicity. Meaning, of all commandment, there are two things that we have, two pitfalls, two triggers. One is not giving the body what it needs to function properly, deficiency. The other one is giving the body what is harmful to it, toxicity. So basically, what we have to remember is what we need to do, which God gave us as a requirement for us to have balanced health. And then second, what we need to avoid to make sure we don't poison the body, ensuring that the body can be able to perform maximally, optimally, and allow us to do what God sent us here to do effectively and successfully. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jack. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Dr. Jack, I always like to ask you, I know you said you were 4 years young. I didn't get that at that time. So was that what you said? Did you say you're 4 years?
74 years.
54 years. Yes,
Yes,
exactly. I
young,
knew I missed something.
young,
Yes, young.
young.
I know. I agree with you. Amazing. And you're a living testimony that as we get older, that our bodies can still function effectively and we can be like Caleb, that as I was 40 years ago, so is my strength still now. So thank you, thank you, thank you. These 7 vital things that are really important: a balanced diet, predominantly plant-based foods, eat things in their natural state, exercise, and in between exercise, physical movement, get up every 45 minutes, rest, rest, rest. Some people think it's just very cool not to rest, that I do just take pride in saying, I just slept for 2 hours, I just slept for 3 hours. Actually, you are doing a lot of damage to your body. Stress management, and I like how you said that can only be cured by hope and faith in God, and that's actually true. Social support, our community, our tribe, the people around us, that love, that community, that connectedness is important. Avoidance of toxins, everything that can excuse me, anything that can harm the body. And then, of course, everything you said here is undergirded by connectedness and alignment with God. Thank you so much, Dr. Jack. This was very insightful, and we'll have you back when it's time for Q&A. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, awesome. So I think I am enjoying myself. I'm taking down notes. I hope you are too. There's some changes already going on. There's some I'm ticking my box and I'm like, yeah, Shola, you're not doing so badly. And there's some I'm like, Shola, you need to do better with this one. So I hope you guys are also assessing yourself. We're going to take our last speaker for today. And I'd like us to get the bio for Dr. Jackie. Okay, thank you. So Dr. Jackie, MD, FNUPCAM, FAIMPN, is an accomplished integrative health practitioner, entrepreneur, researcher, and development expert with over 20 years, excuse me, of postgraduate experience. She's the CEO of BFA Integrative Health and Wellness Clinic and co-founder/CEO of BFA Food and Health Group, advancing holistic healthcare, natural medicine, sustainable agriculture, and community development. A Doctor of Medicine in Complementary and Alternative Medicine with a master's degree in humanitarian and refugee studies, and currently pursuing a PhD in natural medicine. Dr. Ikyotonye, forgive me for spoiling that. I know I have done wrong. So please, you pronounce it when you come, when you get back, when you get on specializes in integrative health, nutrition, chronic disease management, organic farming, and public health. She's a fellow of the Association of Integrative Medicine Practitioners and an associate member of the Institute of Management Consultants. Passionate about women's empowerment and social entrepreneurship, she supports over 1,000 women through economic empowerment initiatives. A respected consultant, trainer, and policy advocate, she has led numerous development projects across Nigeria and West Africa and convenes transformative programs focused on health, sustainability, entrepreneurship, and community transformation. She's an Oak Seed of Class 019. Please, can we give a warm welcome to Dr. Jackie? Dr. Jackie, over to you. So you're going to tell us how your surname is pronounced so that I can get it right.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone.
Good
Thank you
evening.
so much for this opportunity. And thank you, Lady Deborah and Dr. Jack, for making this very easy. My name is Jackie Ike Otuonye. Okay, you tried.
Ike
But
Otonye. Ike Otonye. Ike Otonye. Yes, I have it now.
Okay.
Admin, please, can we take a bio off so that we can have her on spotlight, please? And can you reset our timing, please, so that we can start? Okay, over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much. They've made it very easy for me, on this program, because we are talking of building healthy communities through nutrition, mental wellness, and preventive healthcare. How do we see health? We found out that when people talk about health, what they think about is hospitals, they think about medications, they think surgeries, they think doctors. But those things are just, like they are important, like Deborah said, but they're just a part of the picture. And part of the things we are pushing right now is that we need to shift that paradigm. We need to begin to rethink the way we see health, okay? Because we realize that if we truly desire healthy communities, we must begin to ask different questions. It's no longer about how do we treat diseases, because you see people come to the hospital, how do I treat this? How do I treat that? But we're now saying, let's begin to change that narrative to how do we create health? How do we build a culture of health? Because we found out that, okay, the Bible says we are to live 120 years, but our goal is not simply to add years to life, but the goal is to add life to those years, because it's not enough to live long enough, but the person spends 80% of that long life dwelling in different types of medication and sicknesses. Because we have found out that people are living longer, yet they are becoming very sick. Disease has become a lifestyle problem. So these days we have more hospitals, we have more medications, and we have more specialists than before. Yet we are seeing an epidemic of chronic diseases, hypertension, diabetes, obesity, cancer, stroke, and all the rest of them. Even shyness is now a kind of disorder among young adults. And of course, they have drugs for that. Disease has become, like we found out, a lifestyle problem. So this tells us something important, that disease is no longer simply about infections. And we also let people know that many chronic diseases develop quietly over the years. It doesn't just start. Nothing happens without the body speaking. But a lot of times we shut down that signal the body is giving using prescription drugs. Before anybody is diagnosed with any sickness, the body is constantly responding to the decisions we make. Each meal sends information to our cells. Every stressful thought influences your immune system. Every cigarette smoke that people smoke damages the blood vessels. Every hour of sleep affects our hormones. Every walk improves circulation. Every sugary drink, like Dr. Jack said, changes our metabolism. Health is built one decision at a time. Same thing with disease. Disease is built one decision at a time. So food is information. Food is far more than calories. Food communicates with the body. It communicates with our genes. It communicates through hormone production, inflammation, brain chemistry, gut microbiome, and immunity. So every bite is either helping the body repair itself or making the work harder. Unfortunately, modern diets are moving us away from health. A lot of families now consume ultra-processed foods. You see, noodles has become like a status symbol kind of thing. Refined vegetable oils, fast foods, excessive salts, and so on and so forth. These foods were never designed to nourish the body. They were designed to be convenient, profitable, but very addictive. Deborah mentioned a lot of foods that have nourished generations, all the garlic, all the beans, all the fresh vegetables. It's important that we I'm not going to lay a lot of emphasis on that because she did a good job in that area. Then another area I want us to look at, like what we call the gut microbiome, which is like our second brain. Trillions of bacteria live inside the digestive tract, and many of them are beneficial. They regulate digestion, they regulate immunity, vitamin production, inflammation, metabolism, and even the mood. So one of the ways you can promote and keep your gut microbiome healthy is by eating fermented foods. Now, let me take a little bit of time to explain that. Like, for instance, if you're going to be doing a lot of grains, like the maize, the millet, and all that, it's important you ferment them. The ferment I'm talking about, for instance, is not a very complex thing. You have like your pap, the way we make our pap. Now, I encourage people, when you make your pap, the water you use for making that pap, please use clean water. Don't throw that water away, save it. We save our own in the fridge so that, because if you don't save it, it keeps fermenting and it becomes alcohol. So if you don't, if you don't put it in the fridge, so we put it away to stop the fermentation process after some time. Drink that, it enriches your gut microbiome. Then if you know Iru that Yoruba sell, that's those things like, locust bean, fermented locust bean. Please don't joke with that. Make it handy, And I'm not talking about just using it to cook. I'm talking about like the way you snack on biscuits, you can snack on that Iru. If you're Igbo, the ones we call ogirisi, fermented castor seed, not fermented egusi, or not the people using egusi. That castor seed, fermented castor seed, is very helpful. And of course, I remember a lady that came, she was having terrible bleeding and all that. I just said to her, you go on this ogiri. It helped her a lot. The bleeding stopped. So what we're saying is that these are foods that God has given to us that we can't joke with. Ferment your vegetables. You can have fermented cabbage, especially those who keep complaining about ulcer. Ulcer is, I can't even go into details with that. But if you keep having that discomfort we call ulcer, please ensure that you take a lot of fermented vegetables, especially cabbage. You'll find out that you get relief from that. Then we look at the mental wellness and human connection. You see, I found out that the greatest epidemic nobody talks about is emotional exhaustion. People are smiling publicly, but suffering privately. Many people are carrying financial stress, marital stress, workplace stress, trauma, loneliness, fear, burnout, grief, unforgiveness. This affects the body as surely as poor nutrition does. So stress is not merely an emotional experience. It has measurable biological effects. Long-term stress can influence your sleep, appetite, your blood pressure, your immune function, and blood sugar regulation. That is why protecting mental health is an important part of preventive healthcare. So to build healthy communities, we need more than hospitals. We need supportive families. We need strong marriages. We need faith communities, safe neighborhoods. We need compassion. We need meaningful friendships, and we need social connection. People heal better when they know someone genuinely cares. So sleep is what I call the forgotten medicine. I see a lot of people, they tell me, oh, I sleep only a few hours. And I tell them that is not a badge of honor. During sleep, your brain clears waste, your hormones rebalance, your immunity activates, your tissues begin to repair, your memory consolidates. So poor sleep is associated with increased risk of obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, mood disorders, and reduced concentration. So sometimes one of the best medicines is simply adequate restorative sleep. Some people, when they come to the hospital after enumerating all their problems, I tell them, okay, just go and sleep. Let's get you to sleep. And when they sleep, of course, you see them coming alive, they become stronger and more agile. Dr. Jack already talked about physical exercise activity. That's his territory. He did a lot of, he said everything that needs to be said about physical activity. So I'm not going to waste time on that. But what I'm going to tell people is that you need to find disease before disease finds you, because the body whispers before it screams. Okay, so prevention means identifying risk factors and early changes and addressing them. Okay. Prevention, like I always said, is cheaper than treatment. When somebody is already having advanced kidney disease, dialysis becomes necessary. Uncontrolled diabetes, complications follow. Untreated hypertension, stroke becomes more likely. So the financial, emotional, and social costs are enormous. Therefore, investing in healthy eating, activity, stress management, and early screening is far less costly than treating advanced disease. Communities improve when families improve. Parents teach children eating habits. Because what we find out that, like right now, we run what we call the Garden to Table program in schools, because we find out that it's a lot easier when you begin to inculcate some of these discipline we talk about into, into children. The Bible says, train a child in the way they should go. So it's easier to bend that rod of healthy living when they are still very small. Unlike getting adults to do the right thing is a bit difficult, but a lot of people are trying. Health is everyone's responsibility, not just the doctors, not just governments, not just hospitals. Everyone has a role. Faith communities, they have tremendous influence. Places of worship can encourage healthier lifestyles, because a lot of times in the churches, we ignore these things. We ignore health. We think it doesn't matter. We can pray all we want to pray in the spirit. If we're not living right, it will look as if God is not answering the prayers we pray. Because you see a lot of people, even after they have been prayed for and they receive their healing, they go back to that same lifestyle that gave them that sickness. And it looks as if God is not answering prayers. So it's important that the faith communities pay attention to health issues. They should promote healthier lifestyles. They should encourage healthier lifestyles by promoting balanced nutrition, emotional support, reducing stigma around mental health, physical activity, compassion for those facing illness, encouraging certain types of healthy screening. Not every screening is healthy. Environments, and build environments that support body and spirits. You need to take action today. Communities do not need enormous budgets to become healthier. Simple actions can make a real difference. Organize regular health education sessions like we're doing right now. Encourage community working groups. You can do that in your small clusters or exercise clubs. Encourage routine health checks. Promote healthy school meals and nutrition education. Encourage adequate sleep, hydration, work-life balance. Promote affordable, locally available nutritious foods. Create support networks for stress and chronic illnesses. Reduce stigma surrounding mental health. Foster kindness, neighborliness, and social connection. Small individually, but together, they transform a community over time. What we practice is integrative medicine. Integrative medicine does not ask us to choose between conventional medicine and healthy living, because there are some times that some people, like somebody who has been on hypertensive medication for a long time, we won't just yank the person off the medication. It's a gradual transition to get that person off the drugs. So integrative medicine recognizes that they work best together. Emergency care, surgery, and medicine saves life. At the same time, nutrition, exercise, mental well-being, sleep, stress management, and preventive care reduce stress. Combined thoughtfully and guided by good evidence, people achieve better long-term outcomes and quality of life. A healthy community is not one with the biggest hospital. It is one where fewer people need the hospital because they are living healthier lives. Every healthy meal, every walk, every encouraging conversation, every health check, every act of kindness, every informed decision, these are the building blocks of healthier families and stronger communities. In closing, let us move beyond treating disease after it appears. Let us become intentional about creating environments where health flourish for ourselves, our families, and future generations. And may we all play our parts in building healthier communities. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jackie. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So many nuggets to take, so many things to work on. I just like the idea, when Dr. Jack was talking about, and now you reiterated it also, about sleep. How we think that is a badge of honor not to sleep well. When you sleep well, you feel better, honestly, basically. And I was just making a joke here with my husband when Dr. Jackie, when you were speaking, and you said that the churches should promote healthy living. And I say maybe the churches, they're part of the problem because by the time there's 12 midnight prayer, 3 midnight prayer, 12 midnight prayer, 3 midnight call, 5 a.m. call, 6 a.m. call, people are not sleeping. So I'm not sure, I don't know how we are going to do it really, because people are not sleeping because they've woken up for all the prayers in the midnight. So we are part of the problem, really. But honestly, we are doing better. And just I can personally testify. I can remember when I was not sleeping well, and I wake up, I'll be exhausted throughout the day. I'm getting tired, so exhausted. Yeah. And I'll be really exhausted throughout the day. I wasn't sure what it was. And my husband said, just sleep better. Just can you try and sleep better? At least lock in at least 6 hours. And I honestly said, listening to him and sleeping better, and I began to actually feel better. So some of these things that we think is a badge of honor, not sleeping well, all those things are not great. And thank you for talking about also just the fact that a lot of emotional exhaustion that just comes in that people are dealing with that also affects people biologically, and that's something that we don't pay a lot of attention to. Thank you. Big thank you to our three speakers. I'd like to encourage us to put up our hands if we have any questions. I'll also put your questions on the chat. We have a few minutes to take questions before we go. So please put it on the chat, or if you want to raise your hand, please raise your hand, because we're going to be asking, the three speakers are going to be taking questions. Okay, I see that someone's hand is up. Please, you can feel free to unmute. I think it's Madam Monica. Yes, please unmute and ask your question.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I
Good evening.
stand in existing. My name is Monica Renzi. My question is of two parts. First, to Dr. Jackie. He made mention about swallow, like taking pounded yam and all that, and also Gary. And my question is this. I knew that in processing of Gary, it goes through fermentation. And in the process of known as Akpu in Igbo, it also go through fermentation. Does it mean that even though that this process has gone through fermentation, it has not broke? Because I know through that fermentation, it makes digestion easily when people eat fufu. But I'm not talking about eating it in excessively quantity. That's one. Then my other second question is, we made mention about about taking medication. Okay, presently now I'm always on a medication. I had accident 2019. I sustained spinal cord injury. So I have what is called neuropathic pain 247 since 2019 till date. Even at this minute I'm talking to you, even when I did a HMT, I was living in pain. So I have to be using pregabalin. What pregabalin does is that to relax the muscle, let me feel calm. As of yesterday, if this meeting was yesterday, I won't be able to join because I was having excessively cold chills from my waist down. It was very, very terrible. Most times I've tried not to take those medication, and I find out that without the medication, it's like I'm going not small. That's how to describe the thing. Yes, I'm on too many teas, ginger tea in the morning, lemon, garlic, and all those ones, but I don't see them reducing the pain. Then I try as much as possible to live healthy. There was a time I got a coach to plan my meal, but my meal was heavily on protein, beef, eggs, and all that. I reduced. That's the second part of my question. I reduced, but when I did some tests, it shows that the process of breaking down those protein was not going well, and I was giving too much load on my kidney. And again, I'm a lone kidney person. So that made me, now I stopped. I live normal. I eat a good meal either once or twice a day. So my question in this one, how do I manage without medication in my situation?
Okay,
Then meal to stay healthy and all that.
Okay, I just want to quickly summarize so that Dr. Jackie can answer. Number one is how do you manage without medication, especially since you have it's very excruciating pain that came from the result of an accident that has led to a spinal cord injury. Then the second thing is that you worked on your, you've been trying to live healthy and eat healthy, and there was a time you got a coach and he gave you a meal plan that was heavily protein based. But even though you lost weight, your tests showed that you were putting a lot of load on your kidney as a result of processing the protein. So, what does healthy eating look like? Is that a good
Yes,
summary? Okay,
yes,
thank
thank
you.
you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Monica. Dr. Jack, over to you, sir.
Yes, he talked firstly about what I talked about. I talked about swallow and
Yes, yes, yes.
all that. Yeah. If you eat, food like God made it, this is very important. The wisdom of God cannot be compared to our wisdom. So you have to eat food like God made it most of the time. Because if you eat swallow, you break down God's principle of digestion. God is a God of systems. Digestion starts with mastication, then salivation. And you have to follow it that way because you did not manufacture yourself. We manufactured, cars, we can be able to repair cars. God manufactured the body. Only God can repair the body. So when you have issues like you have to make sure that your food is preeminently as natural as possible because food gives energy and it also heals. The other thing is that most of the time when we cook food and we eat it, this food is dead food because you virtually eliminated all the micronutrients. When you overcook food, that food has lost its nutritive value. So the best way to heal the body is to eat food as naturally, as closely as possible to the natural state. Now, talking about painkillers, I had to deal with peripheral neuropathy, and that is extremely painful. My children sent me to go and do imagery, and they said that all my cervical intervertebral disc were herniated and flat, and that the foramen were narrowed, and that the nerve roots were being pinched on the right hand side and left hand side, and that they had to operate me. Not only operate me to be able to, remove what is blocking, the foramen, but also put two rods to maintain the space. So I would have been, moving like this. Okay, my children sent me some painkillers. When I took a quarter of it, I could not get up for 3 days. My head was going like this. So I put down the drug and I did what I know best how to do. Go back to nature. First of all, make sure that I eliminate trauma because all illness and pain are based on trauma. Make sure that I reorganize my nutrition to make sure that I remove all inflammatory foods. Make sure that I, exercise to regulate the body because exercise affects all the functions in the body. And even up to now, I exercise morning, afternoon, and evening. Because when exercise is a therapy, you must use dosages to make sure that you have a proper distribution of exercise load in the body. Make sure that I rest properly because if you do not rest, you have 3 stages of sleep: light sleep, rapid eye movement, and deep sleep. And the body only repairs itself when you go through deep sleep. And you need to repair. Pain, like your case, mostly is nerve pain, which means that you're going to have to heal the nerve. So drugs will suppress the pain, but it does not heal the source or the root of the pain. And after suppressing the pain for a while, it comes back with a vengeance. And over time, painkillers have a high addictive value and a high toxic load. So you end up by getting addicted to it, and you need more drugs to be able to have less. So it's a vicious circle, and you can eventually, but it takes time. Natural processes take a long time for them to key in, but they will build up the foundation. They will build a strong foundation, and you can be able to add blocks and then build a ceiling and a roof on top of that foundation. They heal, but you need patience, you need faith, and you need proper rehabilitation so you can eventually, allow the body to restore, to renew, and to rebuild. Drugs are only good for acute medicine and emergency medicine, and only for long enough for you to balance your vitals. Then you have to go back to nature, because that's the only thing that works. But again, it takes patience, it takes dedication, it takes understanding, it takes knowledge, it takes, a lot of, courage for you to be able to keep on doing what you need to do. Then faith and hope, because God who gave you life, will automatically bless your effort. But we have to understand one thing. When you pray for the rain, you have to prepare the ground. That's very important. So, or even when you do every single thing that matters that you have to do, you still need the special grace of God to heal. Doing what you have to do does not guarantee that you're going to heal. But you do your best and you leave the rest to God and pray God to bless your efforts. But it always works. It's just a matter of time. I had a near fatal accident 26 years ago, multiple fractures, orthopedic surgery here, corrective surgery abroad. And I spent like 5 years of re-education without working. Right now, I sprint, I jump. Nobody can know that I still have an iron in my leg from the hip to the knee. Okay, so there's a difference between the biology of health and the physiology of health. I want all of us to understand this. The biology of health is pretty unchanged. Let me take an analogy with athletes. You have a footballer who has an injury, and then he is put off, has surgery and all that. It will not change the biology. He goes back to training and to competition 3 months thereafter. The biology is fixed and has not totally healed, but the physiology is adaptable. Like you have an office. Out of the 10 employees in the office, 3 are sick. You cannot change anything from the fact that 3 are sick. You only have 7 working, but you can distribute the load of work among the 7. Consequently, that's what we call the physiology of health. Is adaptable, and you can retain that functionality through proper rehabilitation. But you need to have somebody who has knowledge, who has understanding, who has wisdom, and who has experience. That is important. I'm a specialist of rehabilitation, and I started with myself, and I do a lot of that. So one has to see what can be done to be able to increase your functionality, but it can be done.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jack. That was very insightful. I think I'll encourage that Monica can reach out to any of the 3, I don't know, maybe through the administrators to just get more detailed help. It looks like she would need someone to go on that journey with her because, she's also said she's taking a lot of tea, she's trying to exercise. So I think that what might also be needed is just some hand holding, through the process. Because sometimes you think you're doing what it is, but when you work with someone, you might find out that, there are a bit of gaps that you're not looking at. But thank you so much, Dr. Jack. I think you actually did touch on very cogent points, and I hope that this has helped, Monica. Okay, I'm going to take you, Madam Joy, shortly. I just wanted to, or do you want to add to that before I go to the chats? You can unmute.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, ma'am.
How are you? I honestly love what our panelists have said today, but I really want us to reiterate because particularly, I'm sure the bulk of us here are Christians. I found that most people's lives are not holistic and well-rounded. It's, church, home, they're not integrating, they can't make conversations on the telephone, mental health. Most people are dressed up and even comprehending and their thoughts. I suffered on the onset of menopause. I had there about 700 and odd symptoms with menopause. And you find, like sometimes gathering and putting your thoughts together. I really want to ask the panelists, every one of them, what they can advise us, women that are over 50, what we can do to enhance our mental health. Secondly, I want to thank Dr. Jack because he had to speak to me the other day and immediately he spoke to me. I started being more active. So what can we do to encourage people in the church to be more well-rounded? And it's not just church, home. We are not going to the gyms. We are not, calling up one another. It's just so. What's the word? Anyway, that's basically what I wanted to say.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. I think that maybe I should take that to Dr. Jackie. Dr. Jackie, are you able to help us with that? Menopause, how to deal with mental health for those that are above 50, and then also, I lost the last one.
It's because you've been praying all night.
And it just skipped my mind now. I'm like, what? Where did I fly to?
No, I
Please, what
mean,
was the-
how they can encourage us to integrate, to be more friendly, make that conversation, meet up,
Okay,
go out, do
okay,
other things, go to the spa,
yes,
we call it self-care.
okay,
Yeah.
Avoid,
yeah,
be able to make sure
okay.
that we can commune.
Okay, thank you. So let me ask Dr. Jackie to take that, and then if anybody else has any other comments, they can add to it.
Okay. First of all, when young ladies are growing up, the way we pay attention, like you teach your children about menstruation and so on and so forth. Our mothers will tell us if you sit on a man's lap, you get pregnant, all those teachings. But you find out that, nobody does that with menopause. I've checked Ministry of Health. There's actually no program like that prepares women for menopause. So a lot of women see menopause as a problem, But you see, what we have found out is if people have information that is actually a natural part of biological aging, then there are a lot of fears. People are not prepared for it because when the body changes begin, it takes a lot of women unawares. Some even begin to look for hormonal therapies and so on and so forth to manage all this. But if one is well prepared to look at to handle some of those symptoms like fatigue, depression, crankiness, the headaches, the joint and muscle aches, all these things can actually be handled ahead of time. If you understand that your body is going to go through this, you begin to bring that balance needed between the hormones, especially the estrogen and progesterone. Because if that is not handled, of course, this thing can throw someone off balance. So if one, like I'm trying to see how to squeeze it, because this is actually a lecture. What I will suggest, please, we can actually have, because I've been having this conversation on menopause, because it's a major problem for a lot of women. It's a major problem. So if we can, have that conversation, I don't know when, I don't know how you want to do it, but a lot of times we've had this conversation. It has helped a lot of women address these issues, to understand that menopause is not sickness, it's not a disease, it's not the end of life, it's actually a transition. And like I said, there are some foods, like I mentioned before, that's why I keep laying emphasis on the fermented foods. Your gut microbiome is your second brain. If you understand how to begin to intentionally incorporate fermented foods into your system, it's going to shock you how, for instance, it's actually going to help address some of those menopausal symptoms. It's amazing, So, but like I said, I mean, like we really don't have much time for me to
go into it deeply. So
like some of the things like the natural hormone replacement therapies that one can actually do. For example, in a normal situation, soya bean is supposed to be, it has a lot of phytoestrogens. But unfortunately, soya bean is 90% of it is genetically modified. So you can't even trust that except you're sure of the source of the soya bean. You understand? Then you have things like the flax seeds, and not just having flax seed, also knowing how to use it. For example, if you grind flaxseed and keep it more than 10 minutes, it loses its potency. So these are things that I said we need to find how we can, study these things so that people can understand how to use these foods that modulate estrogen receptors then you reduce the hot flashes and the bone loss. There are so many things that can be
That can
done
help.
to support the ovary, to support the adrenal, to support the liver. And we find out that you can just wade through the so-called menopause and you won't even notice that. Of course, that is apart from building social networks, because like she rightly said, a lot of times we are so locked up inside church. We think joining, like I had to go join IBB Golf Club, you understand, just to go play golf and all that. So a lot of times we Christians, we think those things are for worldly people, but that's not right. You need to build your social networks, make friends, go out there, play games, and let fresh air enter your head. It helps a lot.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you. I think Dr. Jackie, you are Miss Deborah, Madam Deborah, have to partner together because all these things people are
Absolutely.
saying, you're expecting that we'll just know it. We don't know how to process it, so please, how to ferment in my mind. I'm just thinking, well, ferment what? What are we fermenting, please? I don't know how to ferment any of these things.
It's
Please just help
important.
us. Yeah, so I think that for people
We'll
like
work
us who
together
are
on that.
well, exactly.
Absolutely.
Just things that people can, easy resources, I think help. I think just this is how
Yes.
you do it. And then before you know it, it becomes rocket science. So I think that's something that really helps. I
Yeah.
see that Dr. Jack wants to say something, and I would allow. Oh, sorry, I didn't know my video was on, and I'll allow Ms. Deborah after we're done. Dr. Jack, over to you, and then I will call on Ms. Deborah. You are muted, sir. You're still muted, Dr. Jack. You're muted. Okay.
I'd like to talk about the physiology of menopause. I had a health talk at SNEPCO Shell 25 years ago, and this lady was 42. She told me, Dr. Jack, I have an issue that my gynae has not been able to solve. I experienced early menopause, between 40 and 42, and this is virtually breaking my marriage. After that, I started experiencing hot flashes, dryness and this and that. And basically, I tried, hormone replacement therapy, and I was the worst for it. And I told her one thing. In health, we have two things. We have sickness management and we have performance management. And physiology is performance management. If you have a regular sexual habit, you are going to ensure that you can be able to remain sexually active, very long in life. It's like an athlete. We just finished with the World Cup. Look at Messi, much more older than the younger 19-year-old, 20-year-old players. And he was still scoring, and he was one of the best players. That's what we call being endurant. Because he has been training, he has been rehearsing, and the body is capable of functioning over time. Now, most of the time in marriage, believe that, for instance, putting the husband on bread and water, is punishing the husband. Now, that has absolutely two consequences. When a man does not have a regular sexual habit, he's going to experience, problems with his prostate. When a woman does not have a regular sexual habit, physiologically, we say that function makes organ and lack of use causes atrophy. It's like you have a car and you don't use it, it rusts. You have a house, you don't inhabit it, walls start cracking, grass start growing on the floor. So function makes organ, and usually women who have regular sexual habit cross through menopause without feeling, the intensity of the consequences of menopause. The other thing is a very good relationship with the husband. A lot of women have sex, as a duty. Or I might as well be reading a book, let my husband finish and all that. You need to understand that having children is not the essence of marriage, because those children are going to go and you're left with your partner. So you have to make sure that you build up a good relationship with your partner, proper communication. You learn to spend quality time together and do things together. Because when you do that, then loneliness will not be, hard on you down the road, where the man goes to drink beer in the pub, you go to church and come back and start just turning your fingers. So these things are extremely important. You have a regular sexual habit to work on the mechanics and the physiology, and then you have a good relationship caring, friendly, loving relations with your husband to oil the mechanism. And you can be able to go through those symptoms without too much trauma.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jack. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's very, very insightful. Oh, hope we're taking notes, taking notes. Some of us that are giving our husband bread and water is going to come and deal with us in the future. Dr. Jack has warned us now. Be forewarned, please, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Jack, but that's actually very helpful because I think sometimes it's easy to ignore some of these things. Okay, I'm going to try and take some questions from the chat, and what I would do is I would just assign the questions to different people. So let me go to the chat. Let me see. So Coach Deborah, this is for you. And that is, please can you help me on how to treat ulcer naturally? I'm just going to give the speakers different questions and then I'll just take the last set. So how to treat ulcer naturally. I think that you might need to consult with Coach Deborah, but I'm going to give her, give her an opportunity. Coach Deborah, what do you want? Do you want her to see you or reach out to you? What do you recommend?
Yeah, I'll prefer one-on-one because
Yes.
if we just answer on general notes, you might not know the details.
Yes, I agree. Okay. Can you hear me,
To
Coach
rest.
Deborah? Okay.
My sister, frequently. Are you hearing me, please?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. So my sister's daughter was constantly on medication. She was always on admission for ulcer. So just one leaf that killed that, taking it for 2 weeks. So there are details to these
To this.
things. If we just
Okay.
say it, people abuse it. I can just call the name Akintola leaf, but you don't know how to, yeah. So
Apply.
the solution to ulcer. Ulcer is not anything serious. It has helped us with so many people, including triplex from gastritis. But if it wouldn't have happened to me, and I vow that it will not happen to anyone as long as I'm alive, whoever cares to be healed of it will be healed because God has made provision for our healing even before we're sick.
Thank you so much, Coach. That was really helpful. So please, you have permission to please reach out to admin, and admin will connect you with Coach Deborah. Coach Deborah, I want you to take this one also. So Charity says that, thank you so much to the excellent speakers. We've heard a lot about oils we use in cooking. Any practical options or any practical options that are better and readily available in terms of cooking oils?
Yeah, cooking oils. The truth is, most of the oils that we have available are not good for us.
Okay.
Yeah, the seed oil we're using are not good for us. That's the truth of the matter. The most recommended are pure olive oil, coconut oil. Then, if for our palm oil, if you can get from the source, of course, you use moderately.
There's something we have to add to the oil. Any oil. I only
If
take
we
two
are
types
to
of.
go by the statistics on ground,
Sorry.
more than 70% of our oil in the market are adulterated. I know of somebody who sells oil, who supplies oil in the market. He had to quit it. Not doing it made him an enemy in the midst of oil sellers. So if you must do palm oil, go to the source where they are making it, have a shop plug that you buy from. But I tell you, most of our seed oil, 90% of them are not good for health.
So I'm going to, Dr. Jack was saying something, but before then, Coach Deborah, your work is a lot too, because you don't have to tell us where we're going to get the oils that are, because now you said 70% are bad. So I don't know how
Yeah,
to be thinking about it while I go to Dr. Jack. He was trying to say something. Dr. Jack,
okay.
you were saying?
There's an issue about oil. We talk about omega-6 and omega-3. Most of the oil we have in the market, vegetable oil, are predominantly omega-6, pro-inflammatory.
That's
If we
true.
want oil that are predominantly omega-3, olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, cold pressed. Extra virgin mean cold pressed, and extra
Yeah,
virgin coconut oil. They have
that's
dominantly
right.
omega So they are anti-inflammatory. The
Okay.
other thing about oil is that no matter the quality of the oil, when you heat it, it becomes toxic and carcinogenic. So I advise women to do when you're cooking with oil, cook the food. When you remove it from the fire, now you can add 2 or 3 tablespoonfuls of oil so that you do not heat that oil because it's going to become toxic no matter what the quality of that oil.
Oh, yes. Wow. Thank you so much. I think we need to do like Dr. Jackie, Dr. Jack, and Coach Deborah. I think people have to get ready for a full day seminar because how are we supposed to now remember all these days? We will remember them, but honestly, we want to see them in books. We want to see manuals. We want to see things that people can, take and run with. Okay, so this is for Dr. Jackie. Dr. Jackie, you had said that not all screenings are healthy. Someone wants to know the unhealthy screening. Then someone has asked the question, how often should we have sex? I don't know whether Dr. Jack has the solution. Dr. Jack, they said they want to know how often they should have. That's
Let
what
me,
be thinking about it while I go to Dr. Jackie. Dr.
okay.
Jackie,
Okay,
yes,
let me
what's
answer
the answer?
the screenings.
Yes,
When we
please.
talk about unhealthy screenings, for instance, mammogram, you see a lot of
Oh,
women, they tell you, oh, they are doing their annuals. They say with so much pride and whatever, and they're going to do mammograms. We don't encourage mammograms because if, for instance, if you have gone for a mammogram, the way they put the breast between those sheets, compressing it to look for whatever. If peradventure, because you see, before a woman can touch her breast, feel a lump, that lump has been growing for like 6, 7, 8 years. So that's why sometimes when they go for mammogram, they'll tell you, oh, they went for mammogram last year and they didn't see anything. How come they have cancer this year? When they do that compressing the breast there, even that lump is actually that lump that women see in their breast is not our major target because that lump is actually part of the way the body gathers those abnormal cells together. So when they go and do mammogram and press that lump, sometimes they destroy the integrity of that lump. Something that shouldn't have spread begins to spread. So that's why mammogram, like if you're really, really okay, you want to do your annuals, you can do simple breast scans, and there are a lot of other safer ways to check your health, but mammogram is one of them. Okay. Then of course, a lot of people do go to do what's the other one? Cervical, pap smear and all the rest of them. You see, the reality is that by the time those things begin to show up at the clinical level, it's been there for like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. No cancer just shows up. Maybe during some of our other classes, we'll look at what we call 7 stages of disease progression. And the last stage of that 7 stage is cancer. So before we get to that point where you say somebody is diagnosed with cancer, it has gone through the 7 stages of number 1, innervation, toxicosis, number 2, number 3, irritation, number 4, inflammation, number 5, ulceration, number 6, unduration, number 7 is cancer. So this thing that somebody say, it just started. No, it didn't just start. It's been going on over the years. So like you said, we really need a 1-day summit to address all this. How often should one have sex? When people talk about sex, I also tell them, are you aware that at least 70% of men have erectile dysfunction? Have we addressed that? Because in fact, for the past 3 weeks, we've been dealing with erectile dysfunction, and it will shock you how it is affecting homes. So I don't know if we won't have time for that because that discussion is a book on its own. So maybe Dr. Jack can tell men how often they should have sex. Like somebody says, is it once in a week?
Hey, this is it. Wow, these are issues. So you mean that even because I knew that
Dr.
mammogram
Jackie,
was
that's
usually.
very smart of you.
But I wanted to be sorry, Dr. Chuck, before I just move to you, I knew that mammogram, people had always said that it was unsafe, but I didn't know that the pap smear too was in that category. So how are there safer ways for people to be able to check, or it's like you said, understanding those 7 stages so that you can even know, be aware before you even get to a stage where you are noticing it. Is that what I hear you say?
Yes, the reality is that, like I said, nothing happens to the body without the body giving sign. Even the headache, a lot of people have headaches, and what do they do? They take prescription drugs, Panadol, paracetamol, and all that. and the headache stops. They get symptomatic relief. But the major reason why the body is giving that alarm, they have not
They're not
addressed it.
dealing with it.
So if somebody, for instance, comes, they're having headache, there are certain blood tests, like in integrative medicine, there are certain tests we'll run and we'll know that, this person can have cancer in the next 3 or 4 years, any of the cancers that we're seeing in the next 3 or 4 years, in the next 5 years, and the person can start the prevention. But however, when somebody is having, headache, instead of just swallowing pills, we tell the person, okay, even on your own, you can do what we call spring cleaning. What is spring cleaning? You can even begin, even if it's 1 day, allow your digestive system to rest.
Rest.
How
I've
do you
heard that.
allow it to rest? You can just go on just raw foods like fruits and vegetables, because if you know the amount of energy the body uses to, digest cooked food, then you now realize that it's important that even if it's once or twice a week, allow your system to rest. You're not starving. Then I also encourage people, try and live a fasted life. What do I mean by that? Intermittent fasting. People eat a lot, like morning, afternoon, evening. I don't understand how that is possible, So like me, what works for me is 5 to 7 p.m. And if you see what I eat in that period, that doesn't mean I'm starving. During the day, I can take my green teas, I can take my cucumber, I can take my, but eating shortens our lifespan.
It's fun. Yeah, I agree. In fact, I read somewhere before I hand over to Dr. Jack that we eat much more than the body needs. That the
Yes,
body doesn't
absolutely.
need don't need as much as what it is that we're eating. So that thing sometimes fasting helps. Sometimes, honestly, it just helps to discipline your body. Your body's tired. Just be giving you food, and it needs time to digest that.
But
Thank you,
sorry,
Dr.
please,
Jackie. Yeah.
sorry, please. That's also, it's also important that we also understand that sometimes that's why the community thing is very important. Communal, building the network. Some people eat not because they want to eat. A lot of people are depressed. So it's important that, that we don't make fun of people because you don't know what they're going through. You don't know where they're coming from. So if you think this person is overweight or whatever, don't just see people and say, you put on so much weight. You don't know what the person is going through. So it's important that we are careful before we judge people, because the
Yeah.
person may be going through some things and just using food as
As
a
a
way
way.
to
Okay.
address. Yes.
Thank you so much. So I'm going to take Dr. Jack and then the Coach Deborah, and these are your final words. So Coach Deborah, I'm coming to you. Dr. Jack, over to you. These are your final words, and then to answer the question also.
Yeah. I want to repeat or reinforce what Dr. Jack said about some tests. I don't take any test. My father died at 95. My mother died at 93. They never went to hospital. In fact, I was not born in the hospital. My mother was pregnant, sleeping behind my father, woke up at night, went at the back of the house, had me, cut the umbilical cord, cleaned me, and brought me back. So I was not born in a hospital. My father never went to a hospital for any test. My mother never. Of course, we live today in stressful and polluted environment that make us more prone. They increase our exposure to sickness. Okay, with that exposure, you're going to minimize. And then I want us to understand that we have 4 stages, in the progression of illness. We have functional health, where you have the capacity to function effectively as a moving motor mechanism. Then we have health risk, where you shift from functional health. And if you do not do something, you are going to graduate from health risk to health threat. And you don't do anything, you graduate from health threat to health loss, point of no return. So you need the hospital from health, health threat and then health loss. When you are in functional health and health risk, you don't need a hospital. I don't go for any test. I don't need any. May God give me the grace to die, after 120 years, and I'll still be going strong. All I need to do is to make sure that I live naturally, I avoid stress, I keep on moving, I eat well, I have peace of mind, and all those things, and we can be able to live without that. So when you go for this test, God has programmed the body so that when you have a rebellious cell or cancerous cell, the body will keep them in prison so that they do not metastasize. Now they go and probe and cut it and allow the cancerous cells to come out and start spreading all over the body. That is an issue. The second most important issue Dr. Jackie talked about is fasting. Fasting is not just it does not just carry some usefulness. It's a very important health, The problem we have today is that we eat for morning, we eat for breakfast, we eat for evening. Originally, when God created us, we were made for 1 meal a day. When you eat, it uses over 70 to 75% of the energy of the body. Once you eat, blood is shunted from the brain and your muscle into the digestive area. That's why in the bush, in the villages, you don't eat and go to swim in the river. You'll drown. In sport, when the athletes eat, they have to rest for about 3 to 3 hours and a half before they go back to practice, when blood leaves the stomach and digestive area to go back to the brain and the muscles. So most of what we do is we get energy we do not need. And that energy that you put too much fuel in the tank, it causes rust and issues. When you fast for 8 hours, you burn all the glycogen. You fast for 9 hours, you burn all the blood sugar. 9 hours, you burn all the glycogen, in the liver. 10 hours, you go into ketosis. Since there's no fuel, no sugar to burn, the body starts burning, fat. 17 hours, the body goes into autophagy, where it starts cleaning and clearing itself. So fasting is extremely important. In fact, I fast 2 days every week, on water fasting. So these things are important. It cleanses the body naturally. It auto-regulates the body and gets the body functionally, fit. That is important. Now, quickly to talk about sex, since Dr. Jackie, got me into a trap there. Health is prevaricated on one thing: blood circulation. Hello?
Hi.
Poor blood circulation to the brain, stroke. Poor blood circulation to the heart attack. Poor blood circulation to the genital, sexual dysfunction. So we have that physiological issue that you have to be healthy. Blood has to circulate, and then you need to be fit and energetic. Once you have energy deficit, you will not be able to function. And a man has an appendage, a woman has a receptacle. So the man needs more energy to fuel, his sexual capacity. So the other thing is that when you have sex regularly, you are priming up yourself for more effective sex. Like you go to the village, you take a machete, you want to go and cut grass, you come with blisters, in your palm. After you've done it for about 2 weeks, you can cut grass all day. So the same thing with sex. When you do not have sex regularly, you will not be able to function, properly. Because when you engage into coitus, there's friction, you're going to find yourself ready to ejaculate, and you will not be able to last enough to allow your partner or your wife to be able to, reach orgasm or enjoy you. The other thing is this: most partners in sex engage in sex as a result of duty. Oh, I have a duty to have sex with my husband. 2 ladies asked me this question, in Uganda. Oh, Dr. Jack, what do I do, Dr. Jack? This, Dr. Jack, I am 120 kilograms. I told them that when I talk to couples, I ask them to go and bring the pictures of what they look like when they met the husband and the husband fell in love with them. And pictures of the men of what they look like when they met the wife and the wife fell in love with them. Now, some of us are so fat. We have bumps all over the place from the head to the toes. So we are no more attractive to our partners. Wait a minute. God creates you as a saloon car. You go and become a truck. You are on your own. And then most women, when they get married, they stop making efforts to attract the husband. No, I have a husband. So you are dirty, you are not attractive, you're not this and that. And the women outside spend all the time making themselves attractive. So these issues are there. We have physiological mechanism. We also have emotional and psychological mechanism. So you must have energy. You must rehearse so your performance can be good. And you must have that attractiveness so that it is natural. You don't have to force yourself to feel like having sex with your partner.
Thank you so much, Pastor. See, I even called you Pastor Jack. Pastor Dr. Jack, thank you so much. Really grateful. Thank you. Very, very insightful. Lots to learn. Let me hand over to Coach Deborah to give her final words, and then I'll hand over to CED. Yes, I think that's CED I'm handing over to. Okay. Coach Deborah, over to you. Okay, let me give her a few minutes. Okay. Coach Deborah, can you hear us?
She needs to unmute her mic. Her mic is
Okay, yeah,
unmuted.
she's okay. Can you unmute, Coach? Coach, can you unmute? Can we hear her? I just want to be sure that it's not me.
Well, I can hear you. I think it's
I
from
think it's our network.
Okay.
Yes, I can unmute. Okay, the
Okay.
network is quite unstable.
Okay, but we can hear you now. Maybe you should put
Okay.
off.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Can you hear me now? Hello? Can you hear me now?
Maybe you could try turning off your video. I can hear you though.
Can we hear her? I can't. I just want to be sure.
I can't hear her anymore.
No, we lost
Okay.
her.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay, can you hear me now? So
Yes,
can
we
I talk?
can. Yes, you
Okay,
can.
cool. I wish I heard what the things doctor talked about. I know he meant.
I think her network is really going in and out. Okay, I think that we're going to let's see if we can continue, and then if she comes back up, we can ask her to say her final words. But it's been a very insightful conversation. It's been a very educative conversation. I've learned so much. I've taken notes. Definitely we need to do something on a wider scale and a larger scale because this is essential to life. There's just so many things people are discovering when it's too late, and quality of life is being reduced. But thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you for being a part of this conversation. Thank you for, just showing up and ensuring that we're building a community that is healthy. I hope that we can take these things that we've learned and run with them. And we're looking forward to the books, the manuals, the prescriptions, and all the manuscripts coming up from the coaches and the doctors. And that's me signing out and handing over to Madam CED. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Madam Shaga. Good. It was a good time that we had with one another. Thank you, Coach Deborah. Thank you, Dr. Jackie and Dr. Jack. When I saw the flyer that they went to go and put the three of you together, it is well. But that tells us that we have to really look at our health, and they had given the alumni, and I'm glad that Dr. Adaju is here and the vice president who is here for us to have probably called a symposium or a health talk, for a very long time, and we get understanding and knowledge on how we need to go about our health. So I'm just here to just do 2-3 things and I'm done. Permit me to share just in case we have people who do not know the people who are organizing this.
who are organizing this product. We are, how is this now? I'm trying to get to share, but can you see my slide?
Yes, we can. We can see it.
All right, so just a quick one. I've run through the participants, and I can see that almost 30% of us are alumni. So this is what we know. But just in case you do not know us, the 20%, I just want to run through who we are. This is INT, founded by Professor Vincent Anigbogu and Mama Peggy, and I acknowledge her presence. I cited her. We just actually finished the IGC, that is the International Governing Council of INT. We are in 8 countries and we're still spreading. So we just finished the IGC, and I was surprised that she had joined. All right, so this is where we are. And then talking about our vision is to transform families, organizations, communities, and nations to their highest level of performance and achievement. And our mission is just to raise value-based, no excuse leaders of responsibility, integrity, compassion, and excellence who will transform their families, organizations, communities, and nations. And we have our core values: responsibility, integrity, compassion, and excellence. And this is something that Mama Peggy always say, that you have a responsibility and your name is attached to it. And of course, you just have to find that thing. Dr. Jackie, Madam Deborah, and Dr. Jack has found their own. So each and every one of us must find our own. And this we actually do in INT. We build capacities and we make people to realize what their calling is and their assignment is. And we have a whole lot of courses and interventions that we do, engagements that we do. The TLCs for the youth coming up very soon during the summer camp. Of course, we don't have summer in Nigeria, but during the holiday camp. And then the Oak Seed class 051 is loading. Dr. Jack and Dr. Jackie are alumni members. Yes, I can't remember their classes, but of course they are. So if you want to join us, please welcome. I know Tosin has shared a Google form. So just in case you are interested in joining us, I would actually encourage you to do that. That would be good for you to do. All right, so these are courses that, I mean, we can always have a one-on-one with, for you to understand what this course is all about. The History Makers course, and then of course I've mentioned our Oak Seed Executive Leadership course. And these are some pictures of our intervention we've done with Nigerian Immigration, the National Assembly. And this is where I want to stop today. Our STEP conference, which comes up in October. This we always have every year, and the 2026 one is coming up in October. It was during our IGC meeting today that Prof. at DG International mentioned that the new date for our annual conference is October 26th to 30th. So please, we have moved it by 1 week. Please note this again. We're sorry if you had booked the ticket or you have planned for a week earlier, but this is the date and the venue has been booked, and it's now Shehu Musa Yaradua Center, Abuja. So with this, I want to say thank you so much for everyone for coming, and we do hope that next month we'll be having another series, and I know you will show up. Thank you very much for this. I'd like to hand over to, is it Madam Shola or our Vice President, or is it our President? I'd like to hand over this. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Madam CD. I do think that we are done. You are the one actually closing us out. So,
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
thank you.
So tell me, how do you want me to close out?
I think it's just to say thank you to everyone for coming and that
All
we'll
right,
see them
okay, so
soon.
I've done that. I want to say thank you for showing up. Thank you for doing this. I know each and every one of us have added knowledge, you've added wisdom. Yes, I heard when Madam Shola was saying she's taking notes, and for me it was like, okay, let me concentrate. I know how to get these people in the case where I need one or two other things to know about, but I know we are all loaded. Thank you so much for engaging all the questions you had. I want to trust that the alumni will look into it and have another health talk. Please, just in case you're not an alumni and you want us to reach out to you, please do fill the form. Yes, I know Tosin has dropped the form, and trust us, we will always get in touch with you. And please follow up on social media as well. We do post these things on social media, the Instagram, a Facebook, and of course, yes, and then of course we also have a YouTube. So this will be loaded on the YouTube, uploaded on the YouTube for you to go through and invite people to see to look at what we're doing. Thank you very much. I want to say it's been a beautiful 2 hours time. So thank you very much. And to all our leaders in INT, I want to say thank you. Mama Peggy, thank you so much. And all our leaders, alumni president, thank you. And of course, the executives, I want to say thank you very much. Good night, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.